Hi, my name's Amy Dunn and I work for Harford County Parks and Recreation. Today we're going to learn about painting rocks as part of the Kindness Rocks movement. So the materials you'll need are some acrylic paints, some paintbrushes, maybe some sponge brushes if you have them, Q-tips if you have them, they're great to make dots, or also the end of paintbrushes work just as well. You'll also need an acrylic spray and a Sharpie. And then we have paper plates for the paint and for the rocks. We also have a cup of water, and we are doing this outside because it can be a messy activity. So I have a tablecloth down. I also have one down on my deck just so we don't get any paint anywhere. So I have Chloe and Sammy here. They're going to be the ones painting the rocks. So of course we need to go and find some rocks. So in looking for rocks, you want to find rocks that are relatively smooth. Sometimes that can be hard to do. Luckily where we live, we do have some cobblestone next to our driveway, and we do have some gravel rocks in our driveway. But you can just look over in a wood line or look around your garden or anywhere in your yard and see if you can find a rock or two. So once you've selected your rocks, you're going to want to rinse them in the sink to get off any dirt or debris, and that's going to help let your paint soak in a little bit better than trying to paint on dirty rocks. So once you have finished washing your rocks and you allow time for them to dry, you are going to want to seal your rocks before you paint them. And if you don't seal them first, then the rock is going to absorb a lot of the marker and the paint. So this just gives a more vibrant color if you seal them first. So there's two ways you can do that. One is what Sammy and Chloe are doing, which is to basically prime the rock with some white acrylic paint, or you can actually seal the rock first with your sealing spray. So while the girls are priming their rocks, they're going to start thinking about what they want to do for their rocks, because the idea behind these rocks is that they're going to decorate them and place them in locations for others to find as a random act of kindness. So of course people can keep the rocks for themselves, or you can give them to someone else as a gift. They're perfect for displaying on shelves or maybe even in your own garden. So, Chloe, what are you thinking you might do for your design on your rock?
For this one, I think I'm probably going to do a lemon.
There we go. So a lemon might be nice. Are you going to leave any words on it, or are you just going to make it a lemon?
I'm just going to make it a lemon with black spots. For this one, I am going to do a candy corn.
Oh, that's a good idea.
This one, probably a planet or something like that.
Okay, that's great. So you can do a design on the rocks, you can leave a message on the rocks, you can do a combination of both. But the theory is that you're leaving something on the rocks that when someone else finds it, it's going to bring a smile to their face and they're going to be excited to find it. So we'll go ahead and let the girls finish priming their rocks, and then we'll see what we're going to do next. So while their rocks are still drying, they are selecting their paint choices. They've been thinking about their designs. So they're selecting some of the paints, and I like to have paper plates out. We did tape them down today because it is a little windy, so we didn't want the paper plates blowing away with paint on them. So they are going ahead and squirting their paint onto the plates, and they're making sure that they shake it really good first so that it's not too runny. I got this one. There it goes. So now the girls are starting to paint their rocks. And again, some of the tools you can use are regular paint brushes, sponge brushes, and then Q-tips, which are great if you want to make dots on your rocks. Or again, you could use the end of your paintbrush to make dots. So in Chloe's case, she mentioned making black dots on her lemon. So maybe she might use the tip of the paintbrush, or she might use a Q-tip. But the girls are going to go ahead and start painting their rocks. So the girls are actively painting their rocks. See, Chloe's working on her candy corn rock. Sammy's working on her sky. So she's mixing some of the colors together, and that's the nice thing about the paper plates. We also have our water cup here. And the really nice thing about painting rocks, especially with children, is if they mess up, you can just basically paint it all over again, prime it all over again, and start from scratch. So it's a really simple project to do. A lot of people of all ages enjoy it, so it's something fun for the family as well as just for children. But lots of people really get into this, and rightfully so. It's pretty fun to do. So here you can see Sammy is using a Q-tip to make some clouds on her rock. And Chloe is using a Q-tip to make the dots on her lemon.
I'm gonna change this rock
Mm-hmm.
to a ladybug
Oh, okay.
because the ladybugs have a lot of spots.
Okay. That sounds fun. So Sammy is finishing up her rocks here. So after she painted on the rocks and they were dry, she used a Sharpie and she wrote "Be kind" and "Just breathe," and she's still working on her third rock there. Chloe has her candy corn done and her ladybug, and she's letting her planet dry. So Chloe, what are you thinking you might want to write on these rocks if you want to write a message?
For this one, I really want to say "You're out of this world"
Oh, that's a good one.
because it's a planet and it's out of the world.
Right. Smart.
This one, I don't know. And then
Okay.
this one, I think you're just gonna say "You're sweet."
You're sweet. Very nice. Okay, well once they're dry, then we can write on them, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And this gets a lot messier than you think.
Once you are done painting your rock, you're going to flip it over and you're going to write "Post on Facebook," #PRMD. Ideally, when you are preparing your rocks and you're priming them or putting the seal or spray on, you do also want to do the bottom, just so when you write on the bottom, it doesn't absorb the ink as much, but that's okay if you didn't do the bottom. So post on Facebook, #PRMD. And then the very last step, which we're not going to do right now because we do want to let our rocks dry overnight, is to spray them with the sealer spray. So this is a spray that I have for it. Again, you're going to want to at least wait overnight. A lot of people are so excited to finish up their rocks that they spray it almost immediately because they think all the paint is dry on their rocks. But it's just a good thing to give it overnight just to dry and make sure everything's good before you seal it. You can choose to seal it with 2 different coats. Sometimes people do 3, but maybe do 2 coats, and that way your colors are going to stay good and any conditions outside aren't going to eat away at your rock too much. So once your rock has been sealed, you then can decide whether you want to keep your rock or you want to give your rock to someone else. I know Sammy says she's going to be giving her rock here to her grandma, one that says "You are my sunshine." So if you decide that you want to hide your rock for someone else to see, there's a couple things you want to think about. One, you want to think about, is it okay to hide your rock in a certain spot? So sometimes different parks prefer you not hide rocks there. For Harford County Parks, we're happy for you to hide your rocks in our park. We do ask, however, that you don't hide them in the grass. Why do you think it might be a bad idea to hide them in the grass?
Because a lawnmower thing might drive it over.
Right, it could mess up a lawnmower, so we definitely don't want to hide them in the grass. So where do you think a good spot is to hide a rock?
On a sidewalk or next to the sidewalk.
Yeah, on the sidewalk or right next to the sidewalk in the garden bed for somebody to find it. Yeah, maybe near some flowers. So maybe along, like Sammy said, along a sidewalk, maybe on a little windowsill or something like that if you choose to hide it somewhere public for someone to find. Thank you, girls. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Thanks for painting rocks with us today.